economic development. If you haven't been to the Julia's, we're very pleased that it's in town. It's a fantastic banquet center. It was made possible by legislation that was passed a couple years ago when we knew we had to do something with Eastgate Plaza. The mayor and the board developed a TIF plan to help us be competitive with all these neighboring communities that have those incentives. We quite frankly weren't in the running for businesses. If they, they'd come in and say, what kind of incentives can you offer? And we didn't have anything. So we put some things in place. We got lucky on Julia's. If you haven't been there, go there. It shows you the potential of Eastgate Plaza. Eastgate Plaza has been a dump for too long. And is that going on the website? It's been a dump for too long. and we're trying to help. We're trying to help the people moving in there through some incentives, and Julia's did a fantastic job. We're finishing up some housing on Golding. We're getting ready to do 6 new scattered houses. Be a couple on Lincoln, 1 on Church, 1 on Howler, and 2 more on Golding. That's coming up first of the year. That's been money secured from federal money that's flowed through Madison County Community Development, who's been very helpful with all these projects. We also qualified for almost $400,000 in housing money through the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. We received notice that we were going to get that in February, and we haven't seen any of that yet either. So once again, you read the paper, everybody's getting this money, but as treasurer, I can tell you, we're not getting the money. We're getting the newspaper articles. Just lastly, the finances of the village. We're stable, but we're like every other municipality in the state of Illinois. Our income tax is down. Our state replacement tax is down. Every revenue source that we have is down. The mayor and the board hold the line on property tax. We do have pension obligations that we have to meet. We actually, not only is the state, the money's going down, which is natural, the income tax throughout the state's down and all that. The sales tax is down dramatically. But the state is also, to us, in certain areas, there's as much as 120 days behind paying. So not only are we not getting as much, but we're not even getting it on time. So it's put us in a cash flow bind. Our department heads are doing an excellent job trying to reduce spending. And of course, the other thing that happened was the Madison County Treasurer, who decided to do 4 payments, which was great thinking, but he didn't necessarily talk out the possible problems. One of the possible problems is most of the bond payments are due in December, and the last payment we get is in January. So I know some schools and we're involved in that. We've already had to make payments, and we haven't received all our money. But we're going to make it work. No one wants to hear about government crying about not having enough money, so I'm going to stop crying. And if anybody has any questions about anything I talked about or anything I didn't talk about, by all means, I'll make up an answer.
Joe, can you talk about the impact at East Alton with the pending decertification of the levee?
Well, that's obviously that's something that concerns us a lot. Roger's been very aggressive in going to those meetings. Not only is it going to impact our residents through possible higher insurance rates, but any kind of new development in those areas is going to become either not allowed or more expensive to do, which might make it not a great destination. So we're hoping that those powers to be that are taking care of that get it taken care of. Olin Corporation is obviously could be impacted along with the village. Roger, is there anything? I know I'm not really first of all, I'm not an authority on anything, but I'm more than willing to give an answer. But yeah, it's something that every community around here is potentially for future growth, and for the people that are living in their homes if they're having to pay additional insurance. My personal take on it, which is this is an editorial from Joe Silkwood, is that FEMA spent all their money down at Katrina, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to get their money back. They basically changed the standards of the existing levees to meet their needs, but I'm not sure you're going to hear that spoken much. We want safe levees, we've gone through a lot, and the levies have held. But now we changed the rules. Now the levies aren't good enough. So, but that's a personal opinion. It sounds like they've got a lot of legislation. You probably know more about that than us, but it would impact us greatly. Anybody have any questions on something I know about?
Is Rosewood Heights on the East Alton Sewer District, or they a separate entity?
They're separate.
They're separate.
Rosewood there's a Rosewood Heights sanitary
Right.
system. And they're on that for the most part.
Okay, but I mean in the East Alton side of Rosewood Heights, I guess is what I'm asking.
If the corporate limits of East Alton, most of the houses are on the East Alton wastewater. When you get out towards the newly annexed area out towards Cottage Hills, they are not. There's probably some isolated. We have some houses that are actually in Wood River that are on our system. Not very many, just a handful. So, you know how our boundaries go. It's just, but not a significant amount.
I have a good one that you'll know. When the mayor says that he's held the line on the assessments and taxes, does that mean that the city gets the same number of dollars from the county, or that the tax rate that we see on our bills is the same?
Well, the best way to say it is look at the amount levied. As you know, the tax bill can be complicated.
Right.
Take this last year, for instance, the board just approved a levy that raised the levy $45,000. It was $1.2 million last year. We raised the levy. The board raised the levy $45,000. However, we also have pension obligation increases through fire pension, police pension, IMRF, Medicare, and Social Security. That the increase is $55,000. So our working monies are $10,000 less. We hope that the natural growth, the housing improvements, those kind of things, that our EAV goes up enough that your rate stays the same. Pretty much, if you look over the last 10 years, you'll see that the East Alton portion of your tax bill is going down. But we're also, we don't know what's going to happen now with assessments. I think everybody in the room knows that property is not worth what it used to be, but whether or not what they go by are actual sales. And you can say, well, I don't think my house is worth what it was, but if there hasn't been any sales in your neighborhood, there's no facts that bear that out, and that's what the assessors go by at Madison County. That's what brings in the multiplier effect. So we don't know what they're going to do. I mean, we'll know that first of the year what the assessments are. Of course, we hope that the rates don't go up, because it's a hardship for the community, the businesses, and it's hardship for everybody. The village doesn't max out any of our funds. We could tax more than in every fund that we have. We're not even close to any of our fund balance or our fund maximums. We do levy differently than a school district, which I was on the school board for 12 years, and they essentially raise it high enough that they capture every percentage that can be legally raised. They capture. That's their philosophy. I'm not going to do an editorial on that, but that's not what we do. We try to capture what we need to operate, and we're nowhere near the maximum. Now, one thing we have done recently is we've actually started charging residents what we get charged for garbage. For years that was subsidized by the village, and it's just something we can't do anymore. So the residents have noticed over time that they've had substantial increases, but now we're finally where we got charged, and you'll see that the increases will be very small and based exactly on what we get from whatever the low bidder is. So I know more about garbage than I do levies, which I think that's probably what's scary. Anybody else have any questions that they think I can make up an answer for? Thanks for your attention. During the year, if you have any questions, feel free to ask Roger, and he'll be glad to answer.